Hello everyone. Phoenix61 here with your daily dose of World of Warships Legends shenanigans. We are rocking the Tier 6 British cruiser, the Fiji, today. And I'm fast forwarding a little bit early here, this first couple of minutes of the game, just because it was off to a little bit of a slow start. If you notice, we don't have any destroyers in this game, so I kind of wanted to try and pull off the destroyer role and help capture zones. Right, so we've got, use the tools at your disposal, right? This ship has smoke screens, so snuck into the zone, dropped our smoke. We have a couple of ships on our side that were maybe a little bit too aggressive, right? But they're keeping things spotted for us nonetheless. But we did lose an allied destroyer over on the A-cap side, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then two, if you look at the mini-map here, right, we've got two battleships abandoning that flank on my team, and there are 5 enemy ships over there. And then, of course, we lost the cruiser, right? But we managed to sneakily get the zone cap on our side over here on the sea flank. Few seconds left in the smoke screen. We'll take advantage of that and see if we can't do some damage here, right? So we've got the zone capped. That's going to give us a little bit of a leg up. And then a little bit of help. Somebody got rid of a battleship, and then another cruiser went down, right? So good things happened, after we've kind of, off to a little bit of a rocky start here. But regardless, we're going to have some making up to do, as the enemy team will most likely go grab the A cap, then grab the B cap, right? So we'll continue to play our flank. I'm going to move around to the outside a little bit here, see if we can't sneak up on these guys. A little bit of an aggressive move for a cruiser, given there's a Ismail, right? A pretty heavy-hitting battleship around the corner. But yeah, depends on what he's paying attention to at the current moment, right? And then we can see the smoke screen out there from the cruiser as well, the Chumfun, right? So we'll pay attention to this, right? If this guy is going to, so I held off firing the torpedoes just because of how he's angled, right? He's going to be broadside to us. I know I'm going to be able to finish him off with guns if he kind of remains on his current course. He does turn in towards us though, so then I decide to shoot them anyway. And then we'll kind of pick this fight as best we can here. And I'm almost more so turning in because I know that battleship is out there, not because of this cruiser, right? So managed to finish him off, and then we're going to go undetected because of that smoke screen that he left behind. So that gives us a little bit of breathing room. And then this is kind of the moment of truth for us here. This Ismail could potentially do some pretty brutal damage to us, but we get lucky there. He is firing HE, right, which sometimes you expect at these lower tiers. This is, he's a tier 5 ship, so you may not know the right choice of HE versus AP, and or may have just been shooting at something else by the time I popped around the corner. Who knows. But regardless, it gives us a chance to get our torpedoes off, and then we'll continue to turn back in towards him there, just in case he does get reloaded and is able to shoot at us, right? So a little bit of luck and a little bit of just appropriate gameplay there, angling and being aggressive when it called for it, when the situation called for it. Like if he had AP loaded and got a good hit on us, we might have still survived that and then still been able to get him off the board as well, and that would have left us with 2 kills plus the zone cap. It would have been a decent game. It would have been a quick game for us, but it would have been decent depending on what the rest of our team does here. But alas, we have a chance to help out and deal with the situation, right? We're up 2 ships, but like I said, we're going to have to deal with this as, those over on the A flank, easily capped that zone, so we gave that up, no contest, right? And so now we know the battle is going to end up being sort of the middle of the map for the B hole here. And then, so I noticed, I'm just keeping an eye on the mini-map. I've got this battleship on my team just to my left here, just off to our port side. He seems to be wanting to go around the outside. And then the cruiser on our team that you can see, just out in front of us as well, also looked like he was going to go around. So I'm like, all right, I'll split us up, right? But he turns in, the battleship keeps going outside, whatever, right? So I'm looking at where the enemy's going, I'm looking at where my team's going, and then I'm kind of trying to split the difference, right? So 2 battleships that might be in range soon. That cruiser that was up kind of to the north, off to the right, over on us, the enemy one, he looked like he was going to kite away, right? So there's really no point in chasing down a cruiser that's moving away from objectives, right? So we'll play the objectives here. We know the battle is going to be for the B zone, for the B hole here, so we will position ourselves appropriately. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to get some shots off here at this P. Heinrich without getting spotted. We do go undetected there eventually, but it just is he didn't have line of sight on us, so it probably means that cruiser or somebody else was close enough to still pick us up once we fired our guns, but not a big deal here. We do have one more smoke screen ready if and when we need it, right? Looking at things on the board, I'm probably going to use it at some point here, right? We'll just try and pick our moment knowing that it's our last one, right? So we'll focus on who we can shoot at, and I slowed down here just to try and remain undetected as we get some sort of freebie shots, so to speak, on these battleships here. And then I'll move up. We do have torpedoes, right? But this is kind of one of those ships you almost have to, you don't really want to push up to use your torpedoes. You want to let people push towards you to use your torpedoes. Like you've got to wait for the right circumstance here. So if this battleship's not going to keep moving towards us, we'll hold off on firing them. Otherwise it'll be wasted, right? If we go push in like we did with the Ismail, right, we're going to be in the middle of the map. A lot more ships are going to be able to shoot us all at once. So we'll play this safe here for the time being. We'll use the smoke while other people have him spotted and just sort of do as much damage as we can in as short of amount of time as we can here. So we're up to 2 kills, 1 zone cap, and 64,000 damage and counting. So this guy, like I said, he's not gonna be able to cap the zone, right? He's not gonna be able to cap the zone. He's maybe pushing a little bit too much. Kind of know that, like, all right, the teams ended up, all the red, for the most part, the red team ended up over at A, and the blue team ended up over at C. So we know that everyone's going to push in towards the middle and try and fight over the B cap, right? So you just want to position yourself for that fight. Don't put yourself up too much, especially as a cruiser, right? Like, so, if we had a destroyer, that destroyer could potentially sit in the B hole and spot things for the rest of your team and cap the zone, but we don't have that, right? So we need to be careful what we're doing. French cruiser off in the distance, that's broadside. It's going to be tough to hit just because he's right at our firing range, but we'll take the shot since it's a good one. He's giving us some good angle there. Looks like he's going to start moving forward, so we'll try and aim a little bit further forward. But yeah, since he's just so far away, our bullets are just coming down on top of him, so we're not getting crazy damage. And then keeping an eye on the minimap, we've got an enemy cruiser. We've got these 2 battleships moving around, right? We're going to have to be careful with them. So we'll just make sure we're not broadside to them. This Devonshire is kind of who I was interested in because he was coming in broadside, but now he's turning away. He does have torpedoes that are pretty decent range. It's another British cruiser, so we trigger the sonar just in case he sent some this direction. And then if he's going to give up some angle for us, we should be able to get some decent hits on him here. There's a little bit more. And he's almost perfectly broadside now as he's trying to sort of kite away. Still no Citadel hit, but we do get lots of penetrations. And then just keeping an eye on where the fire is coming from. We finally do get a Citadel hit here, but yeah, we're able to sort of utilize the island cover here and escape these battleships. We'll use the torpedo aiming, to try and kind of gauge which direction these guys are heading. We might be able to, if they keep pushing up, right, we might be able to get some torpedoes on them, so that would be really great for us there. All right, it's 3 versus 3 here, and zones are tied. We're up a little bit on points just because of us capping that zone early on. Right, so they've got 2 battleships. We're, in 1 cruiser, and we're at 3 cruisers, right? So if you think about the point swing of losing battleships versus losing cruisers, right? Battleships are worth a few more points, but we are still ahead just because we had that early zone cap, right? So if this were a situation where, it came down to points and time, right? We potentially could win this game just because we got that early zone capture. If, all things stayed equal at this point, right, till the end of the game. But we've got 3 kills. There are 3 ships left. Let's see how many more we can get here. 2 battleships is going to be a little bit of a challenge for us. Just because we are a British cruiser that's made of, explodium. We can go down pretty easy, especially if you're giving up some broadside angling, right? So you have to be careful. We'll try and stay unspotted if we can. See if we can get these torpedoes off. Mutsu maintains course here. We would get some hits there. You can't always try and be kind of cheeky, right? It's usually about the middle of your ship where you get spotted, right? So if you can, sometimes you can get those rear guns around the corner without getting picked up. But this cruiser that's off in the distance, I think that's what spotted us. He's within our firing range, and we fired our gun. So as he ducks behind an island there, we go unspotted. So I'm pretty sure it was him that was picking us up. We'll use the damage con on the fire just because we're not undetected now, so we shouldn't see anything more coming. But then, yeah, we just keep seeing him popping up as he's trying to get some cheeky shots on us. He's kind of doing the smart thing, you know, you're low on health. You know, if you think about you're low on health, you kind of just try and be sneaky, right? You know, get some sneaky shots, try and cap zones and challenge those, you know, because it's just going to take one hit for you to go down, right? So staying alive is kind of the best thing you can do for your team there in that situation. So I would say that cruiser's doing the smart thing. We do get the torpedo hits on the battleship, so that gets us up to our kill number 4 with 117,000 damage in the Fiji here. And we've got 2 other cruisers. This Mackinson is low on health. We'll let them do, let our allied buddies do the spotting here and just try and move away a little bit, see if we can't get some shots off on him while remaining undetected. And then we can start heading. You know, we've got pretty decent range here. If you look at the map here, how far away we can fire. It's actually not like, you know, you could build this ship out in range and get quite a bit more, but I just find it a little bit more useful to build into the AP shells and AP shell damage themselves. So I'll show you the build at the end here. That's kind of what I've done, right? So as my teammates are able to spot him, we're able to get some decent hits on him here as we move away and try and head towards the one remaining enemy cruiser and the last zone, right? So potentially we could pick up that A cap. You know, if that cruiser does end up running away for the rest of the game, just trying to survive, right? We could potentially pick up the A cap and win on points sooner, but there is only 1 minute left in the game. He does show up here and we're undetected, so he fired at somebody. So we'll see if we can get this shot off here and then see if that gives us our Kraken. There is 1 minute left here. We'll take another blind shot just in case we don't get the finishing touches there, but we do. So that gives us our Kraken and 121,000 damage. And we'll start moving into the A cap here. Game's kind of pretty much won at this point, but if somebody spots the you know, if our teammate spots this last battleship, we could potentially get the 6-pack here. Can't remember if he gets picked up here or not. He's just calling retreat. Yep, we've got the game won, right? He was low on health though, so I mean, we could, you know, as long as we're not broadside, we could potentially survive 1 hit, but not a big deal. Plenty of points. Yeah, I think our other allied cruiser is just running away just to make sure he solidifies the win, which is, yes, a smart move. Play smarter, not harder. And then we'll take a quick look at the leaderboard, and then I will go through how I have the ship built out and the commander setup as well. I am using a specialty commander, Chancellor Gowron here, but you don't have to have him, right? So 2,900 XP, we almost broke the 3,000 mark there, which is always nice to do. Walked away with a decent amount of silver. And Fiji is not too bad. You know, I'm using aiming system and then steering gears here, right? You don't get a propulsion mod option on the British ships, so but that's normally my go-to. But Fiji is not, I find, isn't as much of a struggle to get going and stuff like that. But yeah, AP shell damage, and I did pick range for the inspiration there just because we're using Piercer, right? You don't get beyond range in that first row as an option, which is what I would normally pick. So we've kind of, you know, compensated for that with the range for the inspiration, right? So I think if you don't have him, I think who I was using before, I think it was probably William Tennant here, right? And so you get Piercer as an option here, but you know, some of these other rows you don't get the damage buffs, right? So, you know, I would go AP shell grouping or AP shell damage here. You could use Gunther as an inspiration to kind of compensate for that. And then this Mr. Scrooge, I forget who this is. This is the other free commander, but I have him more built out for the other line of destroyers for the British that have the HE shells, right? So this line only has the AP shells. The other line also has HE shells. So it's kind of nice to have an extra commander there, so that way you can assign one commander per tech tree or ship line, as you grind through those. So that's just kind of my thoughts and feelings on that. But thank you guys so much for watching my video all the way through. I try and do Legends videos every day, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I do appreciate that. That does help me out. And then, yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.